Welcome to the wild and wonderful world of UI and UX, where pixels have personalities and every click tells a story. At its core, UI and UX design is about empathy, understanding the needs, desires, and frustrations of users, and using that knowledge to create seamless, intuitive, and downright delightful digital experiences. But here's the thing, UI and UX isn't just about making things look pretty, though that's definitely part of it. It's about problem solving, it's about storytelling, it's about finding that perfect balance between form and function, aesthetics and usability, innovation and familiarity. So whether you're redesigning a banking app to make budgeting feel like a breeze, or rebuilding a travel website to ignite wanderlust in even the most homebound of souls, one thing for sure, UI and UX is all about making magic happen, one pixel at a time. Now let's roll up our sleeves, fire up our favorite design tools, and dive into the wonderful world of UI and UX interview questions. As a UI and UX professional, you will more or less work on some kind of design, prototyping tools throughout your professional journey. It's very important to be very well versed with these tools and know the ins and outs of their working. Let us now discuss a few crucial questions that you must know the answers to in your next UI and UX interview. Non-technical questions. Now, these questions, although seem very vague and unimportant at a glance, it is very important to be aware of these and be prepared to answer them based on what company you are interviewing at and what kind of role you are applying for. Here are 3 such questions for you. Tell me about yourself. Sure. This one might seem like a softball, but it's your chance to shine. Start with your background and segue into your passion for design. Keep it concise, keep it relevant, and above all, keep it interesting. How do you handle constructive criticism? The age-old question. The key here is to show that you're open-minded, adaptable, and committed to continuous improvement. Acknowledge the feedback, thank the person for their input, and then use it as fuel to make your designs even better. Describe a challenging project and how you overcame it. This is your chance to showcase your problem-solving skills in action. Walk the interviewer through the project from start to finish, highlighting any obstacles you encountered along the way. Next up, we have technical questions. These will form a major part of your interview. Typically, your hiring manager or a senior member of your team will take this part of your interview to understand your grasp on the knowledge in the field of UI and UX. Let's now discuss these questions. What are the key principles of good UI design? Hint. Think about things like consistency, hierarchy, and usability. Can you explain the difference between wireframes, mockups, and prototypes? Each serves a distinct purpose in the design process, so make sure you can articulate the nuances. How do you conduct user research? From surveys to interviews to analytics, there are countless methods for gathering insights. Share your approach and highlight any tools or techniques you rely on. What's your experience with UX testing? Whether it's A/B testing, usability testing, or eye tracking, demonstrate your understanding of the importance of user feedback in refining your designs. Tell us about a time when you had to compromise on design. Design is often a balancing act between aesthetics, functionality, and feasibility. Show that you can navigate competing priorities and find creative solutions that satisfy all stakeholders. What tools do you use for UI and UX design? Whether you're a Sketch aficionado, a Figma fanatic, or a loyal Adobe disciple, be prepared to justify your tool of choice and explain how it enhances your workflow. As a UI and UX professional, you will more or less work on some kind of design, prototyping tools throughout your professional journey. It is very important to be very well versed with these tools and know the ins and outs of their working. Let us now discuss a few crucial questions that you must know the answers to in your next UI and UX interview. Tools-based questions. For Adobe XD. How do you create responsive designs in Adobe XD? Can you explain the difference between a component and an instance in Adobe XD? For Sketch. What are symbols in Sketch and how do they streamline the design process? How do you create a nested symbol in Sketch and why is it useful? For Figma. What are the advantages of using Figma over traditional design tools like Sketch or Adobe XD? How do you collaborate with team members in real time using Figma? For InVision Studio, how does InVision Studio facilitate seamless collaboration between designers and developers? What are overlays in InVision Studio and how do they enhance the user testing process? For Axure RP, how do you create a dynamic panel in Axure RP to simulate complex interactions? Can you explain the difference between a dynamic panel and a widget in Axure RP? Case study based questions. These questions can be the reason for you clearing or tanking your interview. These questions showcase your clarity of thought, your problem-solving approach, and how you're able to think strategically to come up with the most optimal solution. Typically, these questions don't have one particular answer, but the interviewee typically wants to see if your design aesthetics and scene align with the company's design process or not. It's very important here for you to research extensively about the company and make yourself familiar with its products to be able to give your absolute best in this interview round. Let us discuss these questions. You're tasked with redesigning a mobile app to improve user engagement. How would you approach this challenge? Start by identifying pain points, conducting user research, and identifying success metrics. Then sketch out wireframes, gather feedback, and iterate until you've crafted a seamless banking experience that users love. Imagine you're designing a travel booking website for seniors. How would you ensure accessibility and usability for this demographic? Consider factors like font size, color contrast, intuitive navigation, and clear instructions. Bonus points for advocating for inclusive design principles that benefit users of all ages and abilities. Your client wants to launch a new e-commerce platform targeting Gen Z consumers. How would you differentiate the user experience from traditional online shopping sites? Think outside the box and explore interactive features, personalized recommendations, social integrations, and gamification elements that resonate with digital natives. You're hired to redesigning a popular social media app that's facing backlash over privacy concerns. How would you rebuild trust with users while maintaining a seamless experience? Transparency, user control, and clear communication are key. Consider implementing privacy settings, data encryption, and user education initiatives to reassure users that their information is safe in your hands. A nonprofit organization wants to revamp its website to increase donations and volunteer signups. How would you design a compelling user journey that inspires action? Start by understanding the organization's mission and target audience. Then craft a compelling narrative. Leverage emotional appeal and streamline the donation process to make it as frictionless as possible. You're tasked with designing a fitness app for beginners. How would you use gamification and behavioral psychology principles to encourage long-term user engagement? From progress trackers to achievement badges to social challenges, gamification can motivate users to establish healthy habits and stick to their fitness goals. Just be mindful of potential pitfalls like extrinsic motivation overshadowing intrinsic rewards. Imagine you're redesigning a news website to combat misinformation and promote critical thinking. How would you design the interface to encourage skepticism, fact-checking, and diverse perspectives? Incorporate visual cues, source credibility indicators, and interactive modules that empower users to question, verify, and explore multiple viewpoints. Remember, the goal isn't just to inform, but to cultivate informed citizens who can navigate today's media landscape with confidence. And here you have it, folks, a crash course in tackling the toughest UI and UX interview questions with style and substance. Remember, it's not about having the right answers, but it's about showcasing your passion, creativity, and problem-solving prowess every step of the way. So go for it, dear designers, and may your pixels be sharp, your interactions intuitive, and your user journey unforgettable. Happy interviewing.